Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I am going to be doing a different sort of video today. It is a bit impromptu. I didn't think that I was going to be videoing this, and then I thought, why not, because it's still something that the horses do. So we're going to be doing grid work, but I'm not going to be riding them, and I'll explain everything as we go along. But grid work with both boys today for the first time. Neither Apollo might have done it, but Sabio's definitely not done it. So we'll see how they get on. Set up. Oh, we've only got a 20 by 40, so I don't think I can get more than 3 in. We'll see what Amy thinks when she gets here, because Amy's going to be riding both boys today. In true transparency, I'm exhausted. I've got some health things that make me really tired. I'm really tired today, and I've got loads of work on and I'm not feeling it. So we normally hack out, but we had a bit of an incident last time we hacked out, and it's put me off a bit, so I just need to get a bit of resilience, and it needs to be the perfect day and I'll start going again. But in the meantime, I thought let's get them both grid worked with Amy. She comes every Tuesday anyway, so let's do that. And they both might be a bit tricky or not have done it and need a bit more support than I can give them, and so it's great for her to... I keep having to look down there to see, well, I'm not going to fall over, to make sure that they are just helped as much as they can be, and that I'm not going to get in there and like mess it up, and that she's just going to give them the best ride, which is what she did with Sabio in cross country. If you've seen that video, that should have been out by now. So just put the fences up. She should be here in about half an hour, so I'm just going to get them both in and get them ready, and then decide who goes first. So I will catch up with you in a bit. It's always like who to get in first. Look, the Labrador's come in. Apollo is such a good boy. Sabio's normally by the fence screaming, well, not screaming, but having a tantrum that he wants to come in because he's Spanish and doesn't do the outside. But if I don't get him first, even though, look, Apollo wants to come in now and he's been a very good boy, I'll have to get Sabio, because otherwise by the time I've walked up there and back with Apollo, Sabio will have probably pulled all his shoes off. So sorry, Apollo, let's go get Sabio first and then we can come back for you. I wish they were sensible enough to bring, well, he is sensible enough to bring them both in together, but this one certainly isn't. Right, so Sabio's in. Nina, who mucks out for me, is not here yet. That's why Sabio's not been done yet, but he will be in a minute. And I did Apollo this morning because I do 1 out of the 3. So he's all ready, so I'll go and get him now, and then we'll crack on with tacking up one. Got to decide which way round she'll prefer to ride them. I know she'll say she doesn't care, but we'll see. So first up was Apollo. I decided to do him first. And to start with, what we did was we just put the poles of the grid down on the floor so that he could just get used to what he was going to be doing, which was just trotting through. The piles just had 2 poles on each fence and just put them on the floor. So he was a good boy. I've done a little bit of pole work with him, so he does know what he's doing. And then she just cantered through the same thing. He's a funny one. He's such a good boy, but he's such minimal effort. So I've got 1 overachiever and 1 minimal effort. But he's yeah. So she just has a little go both ways going through the poles. The distances aren't quite right, but because it's such a small jump, and then we built up to just tiny little cross poles with each one, and you can see just mullered the last one because he doesn't pick up his back legs all the time. But she just keeps on going through, and it's no big deal. She's just going through, keeps on going through. Obviously she's got to deal with Mabel, who's kicking off all the time. And he completely missed that one. He tripped on the way into it, but I was so pleased with the way he picked his feet up and got out of it, even though it was kind of, you know,
almost going to be a bit of a disaster. He's so clever to get his feet out of the way. So he builds up to doing it quite tidily. He is so much better if he has a bigger fence, and that's what I'm struggling with at the moment, because I'm obviously just getting back into it. I want to jump very small, but he is so much better if the fence size goes up. Otherwise, he just doesn't want to make an effort. But we worked up to jumping, putting the last part as a little oxer, and I think only with a cross pole in front, so really kind and nice and stuff, and it's well within his capabilities. But he actually jumped that really well and was really happy with himself. He's so much, you sort of have to get him excited about it and stuff, otherwise he's just quite chilled, and then he doesn't make much effort. But and then he comes around and totally mullers the first one again, so it's just building it up and trying to get him to be a little bit more switched on, and a little bit more careful with where he's putting his big old feet. But he's a good boy.
Yeah,
but yeah, he jumped through it in the end, and the last one was all right, pretty decent wise. So, and then it was Sabio's turn. So Sabio is the complete opposite, but we always start the same way. So just going through the poles, just to make it really clear what we expect from him, and so that he knows the line that he's going to be going through. Although Sabio is 8, he's only been jumping since April, and so he is just as green as Apollo, really. Apollo's probably done more. At the production yard, Apollo was jumping quite a lot of cross-country fences, and he'll have done more to be able to sell than Sabio has done. I've only jumped Sabio twice, I think, where Amy's done it a lot more than that, but he's relatively green compared to what he might be at his age, so we've sort of got to bear that in mind. He's obviously much more physically mature than Apollo, and has much more sort of muscle structure and stuff like that, but he is also not very fit. It's quite hard to get fit, and but he's just going through these poles just like Apollo did. I'm surprised he's not jumping the poles. He normally decides to jump the poles. As I said, those distances are rubbish, but it's because the fence is so small when it goes up that it's not got the normal sort of striding for. And then he just canters through them and starts to get the idea of what we want him to do, and bless him, he loves it so much. And he has a little go the other way. Everything's just really really gradual for them, so we never want them to come in and feel like, they're just being, I don't know, not forced to do it, but we want to make sure they're built up properly and they're nice and warmed up properly before they start doing anything. And we really didn't know how Sabio was going to deal with seeing more than one fence. I think he's done a little double before, and that surprised him. But we didn't know how he was going to be at all with this, so hence why Amy's doing it, because she's always the best one to make sure that they're not having, that they're having just the best possible time that they can, and that she's always going to be there. She's never going to be left behind. She's never going to be scared or take a pull or anything like that. She's always just going to be riding forward and giving them the best time, which is just perfect. And then we build up to just the little cross poles like we did with Apollo, and you can see he's much more of an overachiever, and always puts in a nice shape and always makes the effort. His little knees, that just make me laugh. He's such a good boy. And then we put the middle one up as a little upright, and then the 2 cross poles. And he did actually knock the last cross pole, which is so unlike him. He does not like to touch a fence, but I think I got the distances a tiny bit wrong when I set it all up. What a good boy.
Oh,
so
good
clever.
boy.
Bless him. He's really getting the hang of it, really, really pleased with the way he just he didn't even really bother with the fact that there was 3 in a row. He just comes round to it and just goes, yep, okay. And I think Amy said the first time he came round and saw them, he went slightly like, ooh, a little bit, but then he's just absolutely fine and doesn't even bat. But then he's absolutely fine and doesn't even bat an eyelid. He just goes through it. We didn't put the last fence up as an oxer for him because he got quite tired, and to be fair, it's not, you could put it up almost at the top of the wings and he'd jump it, maybe not the top of the wings, but you could put it up really high and he'd jump it. And it's not the height, I don't think, is really an issue. It's just the different things and the lines and the fitness and seeing different jumps and the fact that they might be spooky. That's what's going to be important to him, whereas Apollo, the height helps him. So I've just got to get a bit braver maybe and put them up a little bit when I need to just crack on. But thanks to so much Amy for riding them every week and coming and doing things like this, that I know that it's so much better if someone is just there ready to put the leg on and ready to just give the horse confidence, and not for a second thinking, oh, and taking a pull and riding backwards, which I might do because I'm only just getting back into it. So that was the boys' grid work, and they were both super, super good.